Hello again, and so it's Stupendous Show number 7. Well, thank you so much for tuning in. Now, what have we got this week? This week we have got, well, it's rather a scary experiment. It's a sort of experiment that I would do in my shows, when I'm doing my live shows, when I'm doing my live science shows, my live shows that are sciencey and rather scary. And this one, I'm hoping that it's not going to go wrong, because sometimes in the live shows it does. For that, you will definitely need the assistance of an adult. You'll have to ask them their permission to do this particular experiment, because it can be quite messy. We're going to show you how to do some excellent stained glass window effect. That should be lots of fun, something that you'll be able to put on your window if that's okay with your adult. And another bit of excellent magic, which you'll be able to fool your parent, your adult, with that as well. So let's move on for the first part of the show. So here we are with the bit about science. This is one of my favourite experiments. At school, I loved chemistry, and this is a marvellous chemical reaction. And if you do this experiment at home, remember, ask your adult. That will mean that you are a scientist. If you do any form of scientific experiment, anything where you're investigating the natural world outside and around you, that makes you a scientist. Don't let anybody tell you you're not, and you'll be a brilliant scientist as well. So for this science experiment, what you are going to need, you're going to need a small empty plastic bottle. You're going to need a funnel. You're going to need some vinegar, some sodium bicarbonate or bicarbonate of soda, a funnel, a balloon, some paper towels just in case, and probably a tray as well, just to be absolutely safe. So let's get on with this bit of crazy scientific mad professor experimentation. Now, today, this is one of the experiments that I really love. I do this experiment when I am doing my live science shows, when I'm at parties and that type of thing. But this is one thing that is really quite messy. It is something that you will definitely need to ask your adult for help, because it can be really quite messy. And what I normally do when I'm doing shows is to make it really messy. So I'm hoping that this isn't going to go completely wrong and be incredibly messy, because I think that this is something that I haven't done on a small scale where it's suitable for home use. So what you're going to need today, you're going to need some vinegar, some bicarbonate of soda, a funnel, a balloon, a teaspoon, and a bottle. And what you are going to do, first of all, you are going to carefully put a small amount of vinegar into the bottle. Now, I think I may have put in there slightly too much. We'll find out later, because what we're going to do is some chemistry. We're going to do a chemical reaction between the bicarbonate of soda and the vinegar. The vinegar is an acid, the bicarbonate of soda is an alkali, or it's also called a base. We're going to see quite an explosive reaction, I'm hoping, but not too explosive. Hopefully it's not too explosive. What we're going to do, we're going to take this balloon, and we're going to be able to see what happens to this balloon during the course of the reaction. So what you need to do, you take the funnel, you need to put the funnel into the balloon, just like that. And then you take the bicarbonate of soda, and you take, I think I normally put in 4 when I'm doing a show, so I'm only going to put in 2. I might put in a tiny bit more, but I think I'm going to regret that. So we're putting in 4. No, we're not putting in 4, we're putting in 2 and a little bit of the bicarbonate of soda into the balloon. See, it's in there. So now we take off the lid. As you can see there, we've got the open bottle which has got the vinegar in it. And what we do is we take the balloon, we put it over the mouth of the bottle. Looks like he's wearing a sort of hat there. Now this is when we're going to see the chemical reaction. So we are going to take this and then upend it. What I generally do, I carefully hold the neck of the balloon round the neck of the bottle. Because when I do this for shows, sometimes it really does do a really big reaction. So let's see. We're ready. 1, 2, 3. Upend it, and you can. Oh, now you can actually see the balloon is filling up with the CO2 or the carbon dioxide. Well, we've got the reaction occurring between the base of, or the alkali, it's both of the sodium bicarbonate, and the acid of the vinegar. And as you can see, this is really going really well, and it's filling up with the CO2, and there's also a little bit of liquid in there as well. That's a really good reaction. I'm glad I didn't put any more than 2 and a bit of the teaspoons in there. Even so, I think I still put too much, and that's still going out. And you might even be able to hear it fizzing. If the reaction dies down a bit, it smells revolting. And then hopefully, let's have a look, I can take this off of the bottle. There we go. And that has got lots, there's a little bit of liquid in that, but it's got lots of CO2 in there. So that is a chemical reaction experiment that you can do at home. But please be really careful. Make sure you put a tray down. Only put a little bit, I think I put too much vinegar in there. Only put a little amount of vinegar in there. For a bottle like that, you should probably only fill it up about 1/6 of the way. And then with that, I think 2 spoonfuls of the sodium bicarbonate would work with that, until you can actually see and feel the chemical reaction occur. Well, I hope you enjoyed that, and if you do that at home, please always ask your adult, and please be incredibly careful. Well, that was rather a crazy experiment. I'm glad it didn't go wrong, because sometimes when I'm doing my live shows, I do get covered. But let's have a nice relaxing time, because now you're going to be able to make your own stained glass window effect. For that, you're going to need some scissors, some sellotape, some cardboard, some cling film, and some colouring pens. Probably the best type to use are felt tip pens, but nothing too pointy. So let's see if you can do some excellent stained glass windows. So for this activity, what you are going to need is some card, some cling film, some scissors, some sellotape and some colouring pens. So what we're going to do is actually create a bit of a stained glass window. Sounds very complicated, doesn't involve glass. The cling film will be our transparent material. So the first thing we are going to do is to make the frame for it. So for the frame, you're going to need to use some scissors. Remember, always be super careful with scissors. If you do require help, always talk to your adult. You're going to take the cardboard and we're going to make a frame. So what we're going to do is to just cut all the way around the outside, just like this. I'm going to make a frame. It needs to be, let's have a look, it needs to be approximately, say, 2.5 centimetres, but it doesn't matter if it's not that or if it's different all of the way around, because this is your artwork and it can look like exactly how you want it to look. Remember, whenever you do any artistic things like this, that means that you are an artist. Never forget that you can be an artist when you do artwork. So I'm just going to make it, I don't think this is going to be exactly right, but it doesn't matter, as long as it looks reasonably alright. So now we've got the frame, and the problem with the frame, as you can see, it's a little bit wobbly. So what we're going to do with some of the other cardboard, I'm going to cut a strip like that, and so it's roughly the same width as the other part down here. Just going to trim that ever so slightly. And what we're going to do is add that here. And we're going to reinforce that, and we're going to connect that together. And what we will do, we will use some sellotape. So use the sellotape like that. You cut off a couple of bits. Remember, always be careful with scissors. A couple of, oh, that hasn't worked very well. And we'll carve another bit. We'll stick that there. We'll get some more sellotape. And stick the other part here. So that's reinforced. So now we've got the frame. You might want to add another bit there actually, just to reinforce it even more. Just carefully cut the plug. And we'll just stick that there. So it's nicely reinforced. Nice frame like that. Now what we're going to do is to take the cling film. We're going to measure that out. So it's approximately the amount that we need. Now be really careful. I think you probably will require the help of an adult, because when we tear it here, there's an edge, this serrated edge. It's like a saw. I'm not sure if you can see it there. It's like a saw. So you have to be really, really careful. So I would ask an adult to help you with that. And now what we're going to do is to take the cling film, and then we're going to rest that against the frame and then stick it. I've started to do that here on this part. So you just stick it there, just stick a bit there and a bit there, and then you carefully stretch this out, making sure it's nice and taut. And then once we've reached that point there, now what we need to do is just give it a slight trim, and we just trim it along there. Actually tear it once we've got that bit done, so it looks like that. Now what we can do is to just fold that over slightly, and then we get some more sellotape. Once we've got that sellotape, we just stick that to the edge of that bit of the cling film, stretch that over there, and then do exactly the same over here. So that's all nice and taut. We just need to do the same over here with these little bits. We can just tuck those under, stretch that out, and then get some more sellotape. With those other bits of sellotape, just stick those there, making sure it's nice and taut, and then stick them all round there, and the same this side. Remember to tuck that in, give it a nice stretch, do the same there and there. If you need to put any more sellotape on, that's fine, just do that. And there we are. Now we've got our little window, almost like a little glass. So now what we can do is take out the pens that we want to use, and then we can draw our design straight onto here. Now I have to be very, very careful. You don't want anything too pointy or too sharp. Felt pens are the best things to do. Obviously, if you've got anything sharp, it will tear through the cling film, so be extra careful. And what you can do, I'm just going to draw a little outline here. So what I'm going to do is draw a little shape there. Little shape there. And there. And here. What we'll do, I wonder what this is going to be, I'm not quite sure. And very carefully, not sure if you can see it there. I think what we'll probably need to do, I'm going to get some white paper. Got some white paper just here. Some white paper just here. And you'll be able to see it much better. There we go. So now I'm going to colour this in. Any idea what this is going to be? So that looks like, oh, do you think that could be the sun? So we've got the sun there. I'm trying to turn this into a sort of hedge effect here. Got some green there. I'm going to do some grass here. think you get the idea of what this is going to be. It's going to be a garden. So I'm just going to... Remember, you can draw whatever you like. You can draw something that you'd like to see when you're looking out of your window. A beach scene, perhaps. Or maybe a space rocket. Or even, what about dinosaurs? Dinosaurs going across your window. I'm going to do a nice purple gate there. Nice purple gate there. And a bit of blue here, because this is going to be a pond. Actually, what I'm going to do, thinking about it, I'm going to draw there we go. It's a fish. There's a fish there. And then there's a fish in the fish pond. So that's what you can do with your design work. But as I said, you can do anything you like. What we'll do in a moment, I think we'll go along and see if we can take a picture of what this looks like on my window. So here it is on my window. You can see the grass actually blends in with my grass there. And so you could do whatever design you want, and I'm sure you'll be an excellent artist. And whatever you do let me know. Do send it in on the addresses, and I'd love to see it. Making your own stained glass window. I hope you have lots of fun. And on with Magic Corner. For this, all you're going to need are 3 cups or glasses or mugs. It would be good if they could look very similar, but with this you will really fool your parents, your adults or your grown-ups. It's going to be brilliant. So let's get on so I can teach you some more magic. So here we are with the bit of magic for this week. What you are going to do, well, first of all, what you are going to need 3 cups. Any 3 cups, best if they look very similar or the same. So I'm using these 3 cups here. What you're going to say to your adult is, can you move these over? Can you turn these cups over 2 at a time, and in 2 moves have it so they are all facing mouth up? Let me show you how you need to do it. You're watching carefully, adult, and then you will demonstrate. You will go, first of all, you do this, turn those 2 over, and then you turn those 2 over. Will you be able to do that? And they will say, yes, of course I can. And you say, okay then. Let's see if that's what you can do. Go ahead. And they will copy you. They'll go, it's easy, you turn those 2 over and then those 2 over. And then they'll stop. And you'll say, but they're all facing down, not facing up. And you will have fooled them. Now the way this works is like this. This is the secret of the bit of magic. What you need to do, you need to set them up like so. So you've got 1 bottom up, 1 mouth up, 1 bottom up, or so that the middle one is like that. And so if you turn these two over, so this one is going mouth up, this one is going mouth down, and you move on to these ones, and you move these both mouth up, then you have been successful. But then, when you ask your adult to do it, you turn the middle one so it's mouth down. And then they can't do it. Because if they copy you and they turn those two over and then those two over, they're all face down. I'll show that to you one more time. Remember, the middle one needs to be mouth up, the other two mouth down. So you turn those two over and then those two over. And then when you ask your adult to do it, you turn that one so it's mouth down. Then if they try and copy you, they can't do it. Now remember, that is a very easy trick to do, but as I always say, always make sure you practice and make sure you know the correct setup. Remember, do magic responsibly. I hope you have lots of fun with that and see if you can fool your adults with that bit of magic. I'm afraid that's the end of another show. We had lots of fun this week with everything that we've done, and I hope you will do lots of things as well, and please do stay safe. Of course, it's that time where we do the shout outs, and this is a big shout out to Ruben and Violet. Your mum says you've been really enjoying the show, and I hope you've been doing some of the experiments and activities as well. And of course, if you do, please do let me know. And of course, if any of you have done any of the experiments or the activities or had lots of fun doing the things that we've done, please do let me know. All you need to do is to email me. That's stupendousmagic@gmail.com, or go over to Facebook. That's facebook.com/stupendous_fun. And of course, if I could ask you to like the video and also click on subscribe, you'll never miss another show, and it will let me know that you're following me. Remember, have fun. I hope you enjoyed it, and stay stupendous.